Today, I want to talk to you about one specific childhood lie that is the indicator of if we live a life where we feel like things are happening outside of our sphere, we're observers, we're never really tapping into our potential, or getting to a place where we know, okay, things are actually working out. I know I'm living my epic life. And the things I'm going to talk to you about today, we can transfer them to any type, but today I'm going to get very specific when it comes to INFJ. This one lie that I'm going to talk to you about, once I recognized that, my life switched from one day to the other. It really did. And it's not so much about understanding it theoretically, but feeling it to your core. So let's really look into it. Understand what is keeping us back, what childhood lie is making us stay in a state of stagnation and doesn't really allow us to move forward. Because this is not a matter of discipline, this is not a matter of willpower, this is not about being a good person or a bad person. It's a lie. It's a subconscious belief, and it's time to debunk it. Before we get started, I want to remind you that INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp has launched, so you can join until Saturday, July 27. That's when we're going to have our first live call, and we won't have any late admissions like always. So if you want to join our amazing community of INFJs creating an INFJ Epic Life on their terms, then join us now. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. I was watching a personality hacker episode like last week, I think, and that's when it really hit me because it was all about parenting yourself and how to parent every type and all of that. And a couple of things just became really clear to me after watching this video. So when it comes to our second and our third function, a lot of systems really talk about it in a sense of the second function is our parenting function and our third function is the eternal child. It's all based on, I believe, John Beebe, but maybe there are even people who've defined it like this even earlier. It's an archetypical energy that is assigned to those functions, right? So it's not about, is it extroverted feeling or is it extroverted thinking or whatever it may be. It really is based on every personality type. So what does that mean for us INFJs? Well, our parenting function is FE and our eternal child function is TI. And if you really think about it, what does this mean? Well, our eternal child wants to get recognition for our TI. This is our eternal child. This child will always look for any kind of parental energy that is telling it you're doing fine. And guess what? That's how we've also been conditioned our whole lives. So this is really not something that I believe only concerns INFJs. You can really transfer it to any other type when it comes to their second and third function. But if you as an INFJ look inward, what does this actually mean for us? It means that our way of thinking is looking for an external way of saying, you're thinking right, you're doing a good job. The way you are, little child, is perfectly fine. You are more than acceptable. I actually love you. And what kind of energy are we looking for to give us that kind of validation? Because we're not looking for another TI energy telling us your thinking is correct. It's all good. You didn't make a mistake in your thought process. This is not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is that parental energy. That parental energy, in our case, is our second function. And it makes sense for any kind of type that you could think of because the second and third function are inevitably and always a match. So it's either introverted intuition and extroverted sensing. It's introverted thinking, extroverted feeling, and so on. So it's always the other side of the coin. So think of it like this. Your inner child, your TI, the way you see the world, the way you actually thought through things. So this is not just about NI, right? Think of the difference between NI and TI as the following. NI is about, okay, I can pick up everything. I can see patterns. TI is about understanding. And it's also about being able to really distance ourselves from ourselves, meaning I can make a judgment on a situation independent of how I feel about it. So that is all about I'm able to see how it is for you without really thinking about what it is for me. It's all about being able to detach oneself from that situation, being really objective. Although it's an internal function, that's what it is. It's about this is the truth independent of how I think about it. And this is what we want validation for. And we're very often looking subconsciously for that validation from the perspective of, look, I'm able to understand you without taking me into consideration. So I'm detaching myself. The way I often describe it is in a way of I'm hollowing myself out. This is, of course, a combination of NI and TI, but think of it like you're hollowing yourself out so you can absorb another person's way of seeing the world, and then you can make sense of it. This making sense, that's our TI. I'm going to allow you to be whoever you are, who you truly are, the way you want to act, independent of how I would, influence that situation. And I can make sense of that, right? We want to get validation for being able to absorb another person, absorb the way the world works, and having a truth behind it, having an understanding. And because of that, get some kind of validation. And it's important to think about that the way we would want to receive that validation is through extroverted feeling, right? It's the other side of the coin. Because I can give you a really easy example for this. So when I was younger, both my grandmothers were alive. Now it's only one of my grandmothers. And one of my grandmothers was always the one who called me and made me feel bad about not having called her. And the other grandma didn't do this at all. Who was the one that I was most likely going to call? Well, it was the grandma who continuously called me and made me feel bad. So I'm talking about teenage years here, right? So I hadn't developed a lot of, discernment around the situation. I haven't really understood that both of my grandmas want to hear from me. It's just that one of them doesn't want to make me feel guilty about it. One of them wants me to live my life. The other one was like, I need you, please call me. I need to have that connection with you. So I loved my grandmothers both very dearly, and still it was the one who wanted something from me that I called. Why is that? Well, because subconsciously we're most likely going to act towards the person that voices what they want, that voice how they feel. So there are people who, have internal feelings and may miss you or may feel offended by you or, have some kind of opinion about you. But our subconscious first choice is to look at the person who shows us energetically you're doing good or you're not doing good. And that's the person we want to please. That's the person we want the validation from. Because in this regard, I never really thought, oh, I need my grandma's validation. I know she loved me and I know that she wanted to call me and I know that she wanted me to call her because she wanted that connection, but I still felt guilty if I didn't do it. So what does that have to do with us being adults now, us tapping into our full potential and all of that, all of those relationship dynamics? The first thing that we have to be aware of is the things that we're talking about today are on a subconscious level. And yes, we have to first make them conscious so we can change them. But this seeking of validation is first off a very human and normal need because our third function is an eternal child. A child will always want some kind of external validation. Very normal because our internal child is looking for paternal energy that is telling us you're doing good enough. What we have to understand, though, is that once we're adults, that this validation that we wanted, we're not going to get it because we needed it when we were children. And maybe some of us have gotten that validation somehow, but most of us, we have this unique way of looking at the world. People around us are also not ideal. So our parental figures, the people that we've met, they all have insecurities. And our way of looking at the world, our ability to, see the truth for what it is triggers people because every single person who has an insecurity that is confronted with somebody who's, living out the truth is triggering and mirroring them in a way of, I don't like this. So there's always some kind of feedback that wasn't what we wanted it to be. And as adults, we will experience this as well because I've been in situations where I was really completely able to hollow myself out, to look at it from a really detached place, understand where other people were coming from. But that didn't change the fact that it could lead to a situation where I'm being hurt because my internal child is seeking validation in a way of, look how much time and how much effort I put into understanding you. I'm trying my best to make you feel good. And as a result, what do I get? Do I get appreciation? Do I get validation? Do I get a pat on the back? No, you're actually showing me with your external emotions, because those are the people that we're sort of attracted to in any kind of way. People who show their emotion outwardly. And this doesn't necessarily have to be people who have FE in their stack, so to say. It's all about people who show their emotions, right? So we're attracted to people who, in one way or another, show us, you don't make me feel good, because we were trying to heal that childhood wound. So what is the solution to this? Well, of course, on the one hand, it's to understand there is an eternal child energy within me. But I can't look outside for the parent I always wanted, because that parent that I'm looking for is actually part of who I already am. And that is my second function. So with our second function, and it's actually through watching the episode of Personality Hacker that just made it even more clear to me, of course, I have to be the one who stands up. I have to be my parent. So there is a paternal energy within us, and it's our second function. And most people don't want to tap into their second function, because the way to look at it is the following. Imagine there's a child, and I always encourage, the people that I talk to, and I've done this myself, is to take a picture of you when you were a child and to really look at it and think of it. This is a small child that is in your care. And then this child goes to other adults and is asking, please be my parent. And they're not able or willing to be that presence that is telling the child, you're good enough. You're doing great. You're doing your best. You got this. Thank you so much for being in my life. I so appreciate you. What do we have to do in that moment? It's us who have to stand up against those adults, because that is what we very often don't do. We have people telling us, you're not good enough, you're triggering me, you're making me feel bad the way you approach life, and we take it on. So our eternal child is trying to prove to that adult outside of us that, I'm going to do everything you want me to because I want your validation. And that child is never going to stop asking for that. It's because it's an internal child. What we can do, though, is the following. Become the parent to this inner child. And this parent to this inner child is our second function. It is our FE. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we're changing our approach to our second function from using it in a reactive way, as in, this is how other people react, how they feel, and we're trying to smooth it over, to being somebody who actually puts up a wall. Somebody's treating my inner child badly, I'm going to be the parent. And I'm going to tell him to back up right now. That's what it's about. It's about understanding that that eternal child of yours will always want some kind of validation. And we're never going to get it from the people outside of us. And once we really get to that place, there's a lot of grief that happens, because that's what our eternal child wants now, and that's what our younger self wanted then, and we didn't get it. And most people experience this outside of being an INFJ. This entire dynamic between an external feedback and the language of our second function towards our third function. So if I really look at myself as an adult version of me that is going to use my second function to say, back off. You're not talking to my child this way. And if it's hard for you to imagine this for yourself, really think of yourself as a little child. Take that picture. Practice this. Because if you think of another little child and there is another adult, and this adult might be 18, it doesn't matter, but somebody who's older than that child and is making that child feel bad, you would step up. You would say, just get off. It's so much easier for us to stand up for other people than it is for us. So think of it like this. You're not standing up for your adult self. You're standing up for your eternal child, because we have to allow ourselves to think the way we want to think, to see the world we want to see it. And it's on our adult parental function to make this happen. So if somebody makes us feel bad for thinking the way we want to think, we do two things. First off, we're going to make that person feel bad. We're going to be the parent who protects that inner child. And that's not going to happen by trying to explain to another person why they shouldn't act this way. We're doing this by exerting an emotion, by making them feel something. You make my child feel like this, I'm going to make you feel like that. We're not going out of our way to hurt people, but we're surely not going to allow somebody to make our child feel bad. So for me, that really meant when I tried my best to really prove to another person that I had just good intentions, that my thought process didn't make me somebody evil, that I was able to really detach from myself and all of that. And no matter what I did and what I tried, it still wasn't good enough. I understood that this is a change I have to approach. The parent that we're looking for isn't going to be found outside of us. We have to be the ones who step up and become that. And we're doing this by making people feel when they have hurt our internal child and making them understand that we're not going to stand by this because we're going to protect that child. So really allowing yourself to put it into like those two categories of this is my adult self and this is my child self, and I'm going to protect that child, has really helped me to make big differences in my life, to change my mindset and start approaching in a life that really protects my peace, which in evidence is my inner child. And through that, I was actually able to play around with ideas, create the life I always wanted, and not feel guilty about it. So remember, if you want to find a peaceful and an encouraging environment for your inner child to thrive as well, one of the best ways is to join our INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp community. It's a safe space, it's a very encouraging space, and it's really allowing ourselves to grow at the pace and in the direction that is best for us, that makes us feel amazing, that makes us feel like life is happening through us. So everything you need to know in order to join us until this Saturday, July 27, you can find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.